pretty simple, but it's gaining a lot of prominence these days. Look at the use of the word minilaterals. What are these minilaterals? Let me try and explain it to you. So understand this. We have something like UN, everyone, United Nations, where almost every country of the world is a part of it. Also, do we have something like G20? Are these good example of multilateralism? Can I call UN and G20 a good example of multilateralism? Yes or no? I've explained it to you. What is, so you better say yes or no today. Very good. Okay. And then let's say India is signing a nuclear treaty with US. Is this a good example of bilateralism? Can I call it bilateral because two countries are involved? Something between this, between multilateral and bilateral, is called minilateral. So for example, Quad. So it does not have 20 countries. It is not having 190 countries, but it is also not bilateral. So minilateral are groupings, dhyan se sunna, which are smaller meaning 3 to 4 countries in it. They are not bilateral because there are more than 2 nations in it, but it is not multilateral because it is not having many countries in it. So it is somewhere between multilateral and bilateral. Also, these are made on certain issues which are not very broad. So what do I mean by this? So for example, G20. G20 will talk about economics also. We'll talk about social issues also. We'll look at poverty as well. Might talk about development, infrastructure. UN is going to talk about climate change also. It will work on economics, property rights, and number of issues. So the agenda of UN and G20 are very, very expansive in scope, very comprehensive in scope. Whereas minilateral will focus on 2 to 3 core areas. So for example, Quad is concerned with what? The security of Indo-Pacific. तो ज़्यादा वो किसके बारे में बात कर लेगा? Disaster management or economics of Indo-Pacific. So try and understand. I'll give you the write-up, but understand this. What are minilaterals? Look at, understand this very carefully. They're not as big like the G20 or the UN. So they're not multilateral, but they're not bilateral as well because they include more than 2 countries. Why are minilaterals getting very popular? There was a very important article on this, that in recent times you see the springing up of various minilaterals in the world. So you see organizations like AUKUS or organizations like Quad coming up very quickly. Why? Because the problem with multilateralism is, since there are many players involved, there are equal conflicts that can come up. There can be frequent stalling of decisions due to 2 countries not being on the same page. So the idea of minilateral is only those countries are coming together which are sharing certain common grounds on a particular issue. So they are able to achieve their targets faster. One thing is this. Second is they are always cooperating on issues which are either 2 or 3 in number. So they are not a list of issues that they'll be talking about. So the decision taken are quite faster than maybe a multilateral institution or a bilateral institution. Why am I focusing on this topic is you can expect a question which can go like this. Do you think the rise of minilaterals has come about as a way of fulfilling the gap between multilateralism and bilateralism? Bilateralism का problem क्या है? Only 2 countries are involved. So you can't have bigger cooperation. Multilateral का problem क्या? इतनी सारी countries involved है कि कचरा हो जाता है. तो इन दोनों के बीच का ये minilateral is able to solve the problem of both multilateral as well as bilateral. Concept समझ में आया minilateral?